Shots are super long. It looks like he's starting to lose the front end, and then it sticks on him. He ends up high siding. Not a fast crash, but a costly one, especially maybe overall talk. Yep, going from
What's going on, team?
You can see Jet talking about his bike with his hand movements, talking about how busy the bike was, and that's kind of what it looks like. So they go back and work on it, but he got it done.
I'm also watching the motocross race. Sorry about that, team. Hope you guys Hope you guys have had a great start to the weekend. Right, we're gonna get this session done a little bit earlier than usual. Won't be here tomorrow. I'll be here, but I'll be getting home late, so I want to get this stream done. I want to get my charts updated. So then Sunday night, Monday morning for the market open, we'll have the charts ready. We'll know what to look at, and I'm not, getting home and tired already. So we'll be doing it now. For the ones who missed the live session, if you're watching the recording, it's all good. If you have any questions in the meantime, just let me know. Message me on Discord. You could leave a comment here on YouTube. Whatever's easier for you guys. I'll also post a link for the Discord. Again, what we do here is free. We have the free Discord. We have these free live sessions. We do have a paid membership if you are interested in doing one-on-one sessions, stuff like that. Get a little bit more personal. Then we do have a membership, but again, the Discord still free. We still do these sessions on YouTube, which are free. So it's giving you guys an option for the ones who want to take it more serious, or the ones who really want to learn, whatever the case is. Just gonna give everybody another minute. We'll start at 3:50. A few more seconds and then we'll get started. Again, the weekly market breakdown. We're gonna go over the pairs that you see on the right hand side with a red flag next to their name. Starting off with AUDUSD, finishing off with USOIL. We will be going in order from the top to the bottom. There's some pairs here that are missing, and I know this because usually I'm able to scroll here. So I'm gonna go through these pairs real quick. AU, ACAD, EA, ECAD, EU. GA, GCAD, GJ, GU. NZD, USD is one. Alright, okay, so GU. Then you have US30. Then you have USDCAD, ZAR, gold, Bitcoin, oil. Okay. Which pairs am I missing? I'm missing a pair 100% here. That's supposed to be here. All good. At least it's not one of the pairs that we look at. Right, so we're gonna go over the daily time frame. We'll update the daily time frame if we have to. At this point, I don't think we need to, but we'll see it. 4-hour time frame. We'll update the 4-hour time frame. The weekly outlook. Right, how many weeks of drop or rise? How do we end this week? If we have any continuations for next week, and then obviously the 30-minute time frame. Look what happened towards the end of the week. If there's any continuations or anything that we could catch for the beginning of the week, we'll update that. So let's just start. My bad, give me 1 second. What is that I'm hearing? Am I tripping? AU. Let's get started. So daily time frame AU, we know we're still in an overall downtrend. A2, this is the second zone consolidation, looking for that third and final push to the bottom. Right, we have the break of structure. The break of structure happened here. Got the lower low, and we're just looking for that lower high. So let's go ahead and just start deleting some of these drawings so we have a cleaner view of what we're looking at. Right, so we're looking for that lower high. And once we know we have that lower high, that's when we'll start looking for those shorts going back down to the bottom to make lower lows. So we know that we still have that gap at the top of the market. We're still really close to the 800 EMA. The only thing that I am liking about where we're at is the fact that price rejected these highs 3 different times already. Right? So if you're a retail trader, if you're a pattern trader, or if you just know about different strategies in the market, right, then you know that this is considered a triple top. Right? So again, retail traders, whatever you want to call them, pattern traders, etc., etc. There's a lot of those traders are currently taking those positions going short, right? So again, this is good, right? Understanding the different moves the market is going to give is good to have this in your toolbox. Why? Because now you could just follow this up with more confirmation, right? In order for us to start looking for shorts in these areas, what do we need to start seeing now in the internal time frame? Which again, internal time frame is the lower time frames, right? 30-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute. External time frame is the higher time frames, 4-hour, 4-hour and daily time frame, right? So right now we could see in the daily time frame, all right, we're in a position where we want to potentially start looking for shorts. What do we want to start seeing on the lower time frames, right? We want to start seeing lower lows and lower highs. We want to start seeing that downtrend push, right? And right now for AU on the 4-hour, we're still making higher high, higher low. Price gave us higher high, right? And then price failed to give us another break here, right? So we know that we're still trading between this low and this high on the 4-hour time frame, right? And again, even on the 4-hour time frame, we have that same thing, that triple top, the rejection of the highs, cool. On the 30-minute time frame, this is where I want to start seeing price make lower lows and lower highs, right? And we know that right now we're trading higher high, this huge zone that we have for for AUD USD dogs. We have higher high, and let's change colors so we're. What's good, Mr. Bashir? Welcome to stream, my brother. I'm having a good weekend, man. I can't complain. Hope you've been enjoying it too, my brother. Any questions? Just let me know. Right, so we know that for AU we were trading lower low, lower high, lower low, and this is where price started turning around, right? It started giving us higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Then price came to the top side, didn't give us a clean break. It did tap above the highs, but didn't give us a clean break. But we'll still call it a higher high, right? For the sake of needing to look for another low to be made, start making lower lows, lower highs, etc., right? We have this higher high here. So another thing we have to keep an eye out for is, all right, we know we're still trading at a higher high. We know we're still in an uptrend, right? These pushes down to the bottom could still be the pullback. This could still be price making higher high going into a higher low, right? And what's the pullback? Again, this goes back into what we were saying earlier. It depends what type of trader you are. It depends how you look at this. Depends what strategy you're looking for, right? If you're a fib trader, let's just start with this, right? If you're a fib trader, you're using 2 areas, right? If you're a fib trader who uses patterns, or if you're just a fib trader who uses psychological levels, right? If you're a fib trader trading patterns, then you wouldn't be looking for a 23.6 or 38.2% pullback, because this isn't a flag pulse pattern, right? This is a trend, right? So in the trend, most fib traders are just looking at the golden era, right? The golden area, the golden zone, the gold zone, whatever it is that they call it, right? And that's the 50% 61.8 retracement, right? Or if you trade EMAs and you're trading them the right way, depends what your rules are, you're looking for the bounces off the EMAs, right? So at this point, who's right and who's wrong? At the end of the day, it's all about market structure. That's all it is. It's still just market structure. You don't need all of these tools, right? We use them for just more confluence, right? Understand that. It's when you have different tools being used in one area, and every single tool is telling you the same thing, which is enter the trade, you take that trade. You have a 100% chance of winning that trade if all your confluences line up, right? But if you only have one confluence yet, you still might be winning a lot, right? Just with one confluence. But having 10 different tools tell you the same thing help you make that decision a lot more than if you were just to have one or none at all, right? But market structure is where this ties up, right? We know that we're looking for a higher for price to turn around. We're looking for those lower lows and lower highs. Cool. Right now we're not making that on the 30-minute, which is why we need to start looking for, okay, if we were to go and look for shorts, where's our point of interest to take profit, take a step back, and wait for those continuations to continue to look for entries, right? And in this area, right, I don't want to get too technical because this is what the live trading session is, but just to give you guys kind of an insight, right, or a little bit more of an understanding. Once price gives you that rejection or the inducement of the highs, you want to go into the internal time frame, right, the lower time frame, 5-minute, 1-minute, right? And this is where you start looking for price to turn around. And we could see that price was giving us the entire time higher high, higher low, higher high, right? The market opened, we gave a little change of character, lower low, price came back to the top side, right? This was just sideways movement. There's no trend here. Price is just moving sideways, right? Giving you a change of character, higher high again. Then price gave you a higher low, right? And then price gave you higher high, higher low, higher high. This was already during the NYC session, 9:30 a.m., right? After the NYC session, this was Thursday going into Friday, this is where price started turning around. At the end of the day, going into the start of the market open for Friday, price gave you lower low, change of character, lower high, lower low, break of structure, lower high retest, and that's it. Straight to profit, right? If you moved your stop loss, you know, if you moved your stop loss, then you probably got hit out, break even here because price came back up. But we've been in these areas, right? We've been in these areas, and we also knew, this is where psychological shit comes into play here, right? Because we knew Friday was what? We had news at 8:30, so this is where you make a decision, right? How many times did price, once we made this lower low here, right? Price gave you a pullback, lower high. It came back down to the lows. Once you saw that price didn't give you a valid BOS, and it's already, 8:20, 10 minutes before news, you don't have a valid break, get out of the trade. If you don't get out of the trade, you already know they're hunting stop losses. So if you didn't get in the trade at the right time up here, and you didn't have a, if you moved your stop loss to break even instead of having it at the level above, which is right here, you would have gotten hit up. You would have been straight to stop loss if you didn't close out during the news or before the news, right? So that's all we're looking for. That's really all it is. So right now for AU, what does that mean for AU? Well, now we just have to be patient, right? The first trade going short was already hit, which again, we saw that it happened during the Asia session. So by the time we woke up, by the time we were on the charts already, the entry had already played out. And that's okay. That happens. It is what it is. So now again, we just have to wait for price to really give us a confirmation as to what price wants to do. Right? At this point, again, remember, these pullbacks that we could see, this could be the higher low for price to make a higher high. Price could give you a steeper pullback to here, give you a higher low here to go into a higher high. Price could give you a steeper pullback down to here, right? Give you a higher low to go into a higher high. Or it could just go all the way back down to the bottom here, right? Give you a higher low to a higher high. So you have all of these points of interest as to where price needs to go. So the next question should be, well, okay, once price gets to your point of interest, what are you looking for? Again, same thing that we were looking for at these highs, right? If price gets to my point of interest and it starts giving you higher highs and higher lows, then boom, that's it. You already know price is going to go back to the top side. So for example, here, we're at a point of interest. What is price doing in the internal time frame? Lower low, lower high, lower low, boom, higher high, change of character. So I already know that for the start of the week, What do I need to see? I either need to see price break these highs here, and then that's when we'll start seeing price go back up, or we'll need to start seeing price break back down these lows. And again, in the lower time frame, if you see it, again, I'm just looking at the previous high and low. Right? We had lower low, lower high, lower low. We had that little bullshit. The bullshit moves here, gave us another lower low, right? And then gave us a higher high, right? So we know we're trading between this low and this high. Right? And nothing has broken below these lows. Nothing has broken above these highs. It's just been sideways movement in here. This is not a trend. Right? We're not looking at this as lower low, lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, high. Like, that's not the real trend. You're not looking at anything there. Right? The trend is lower low, lower high, lower low, right? A little bit of sideways movement, higher high, lower low, right? So we're trading between this low and this high here, because nothing broke above these highs yet, and nothing has broken above these lows just yet. Everything else is just sideways movement. So that's what we'll be looking for on AU. Depending on where price goes, that'll give us more confirmation as to where we should be looking for price to go for the start of the week. But again, would love to see price start going down. If it starts giving us that lower low, lower high, gives us the break of the lows, we have a triple top on the 4-hour and daily time frame. This is easy cash back down to the bottom, or at least to just give us a pullback, right? Or at least for that, we'll just get a little bit of a pullback, right? Because we also know that we're kind of just in a zone of consolidation here, right? So okay, cool. Price doesn't break these highs. What happens? It goes back down short. Price doesn't break the highs. All good. It went back down. So same thing here. If price doesn't break these highs, we know we'll just come back down into this area. Again, I am still expecting price to go up due to the fact that we have this gap at the top of the market. So I would just love to see price give us an entry at least from the top back down to the bottom. Right, so we'll keep an eye on it. That was a pretty lengthy first pair, right? Any questions? Anything you want me to go over? Anything you want me to explain? And again, every pair is traded and treated. It's traded and treated the exact same way. It's the same shit. Only difference is the pair you're looking at and where they're at in the overall trend. And sometimes some pairs are doing the exact same thing. Some pairs are doing the same thing but inverse, right? Some are uptrending, the others are downtrending. But the trading criteria don't change. This is the same thing. In an uptrend, what are you looking for? Higher highs and higher lows. In a downtrend, what are you looking for? Lower lows and lower highs. So the example that we gave for AU that's in a downtrend is the exact same examples we're going to use for a pair like EU that's in an uptrend. But everything I said about AU is just inverted to the uptrend, right? Instead of looking for the break of the lows, and lower highs, I'm looking for the break of the highs, the change of character, higher high, higher low into the BOS. It's the same thing with the downtrend, right? Instead of looking for a break of the highs on a downtrend, I'm looking for the break of the lows. Vice versa. For a break of the highs, I'm looking for the uptrend move. Same concepts, right? It's just backwards. The double tops are double bottoms. Triple bottoms, triple tops. Same thing, just backwards. One is downtrend, one is uptrend. Enjoying the explanation? Keep it on. Alright, bet. Right, so AUDCAD, we are still in A1, which is the first zone of consolidation. I stuttered there because I'm like, did we get the break? But no, we don't have the break of the lows. These were all testing candles. We're still stuck in the zone of consolidation. We have no continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, price gave us, oh man, I'm gonna have to add another line. I hate doing this. I tell you, yo, tell me I'm bugging out. But every time I do this session, do I not always say, hey, I'm gonna add a line because I don't want to add 5 of them next week when I do the session. And every single weekend I feel like I add 10 lines. But I still somehow always have to put lines every weekend. Am I am I good? Tell me I'm wrong. I feel like every weekend I always gotta put more lines. So AUDCAD, where are we? I already forgot because I had to add lines. A1. Okay, we're still in the zone of consolidation. No continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we can still see price is in this small zone of consolidation, which is really just a 30-minute zone of consolidation. We don't have any continuations. We have a month or a week of rise. So we have no continuations. And then on the 30-minute, we have price still giving us, right, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price never broke these highs, gave us the inducement, came back down, came back up, gave us a change of character, higher high. So we know that we're trading between this low down here and this high, right? And again, we still know we're in the zone of consolidation. So still don't have a break of the lows, still don't have a break of the highs. We also have that 1 hour engulfing candle at these highs, at the previous lower high. So we'll see what price wants to do. You know, again, for AUDCAD, I would love to say that, oh, you know, this is where price gave us a lower low, this is the lower high, and then we'll see lower low, right? Again, the only reason I would say that that's not correct is, again, because this lower low, technically speaking, is not a valid lower low, because price did not give us a valid break of the lows. It gave us just testing candles. None of these candles are real valid break of structures. So technically speaking, this is not a strong or a valid lower high. So with that being said, that's probably why we're seeing what we're seeing now. But we'll have the confirmations. That's always the question. Well, would we know ahead of time? Like, how do we know? It's very simple, right? In this lower low, what did price give us? Like, this is the most simple thing the market makers could give you, right? In a lower low, price gave, or the market makers gave you a zone of consolidation, right? Remember, we always say this. Make sure you guys write this down. The market moves in two directions, right? Either a trend or a zone of consolidation or a range, whatever word you want to use is the same thing. In trading, you'll find out that we have a lot of words that mean the same thing. It's just depends who you talk to. Some people will call it a zone of consolidation, consolidating. Some people will call it a range, ranging, you know, whatever. Um, right, or lower low and lower high, right? So you have the trend or you have the zone of consolidation. So what does that mean? Well, simple. In a pullback, when you're looking for lower low and lower highs, those things that you're talking about, lower high, the lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high, these are called trends, right? The trend. We know that price could do two things, either trend or consolidate. So when you're at a lower low, price could either trend and give you a lower high, right, to then give you a lower low, or price could give you the range and give you lower low, zone of consolidation, right, the break, lower high to continue. So this is what's going on right now. Could this be the lower low, right? In the lower low is just going to give you a zone of consolidation, right? Give you the pullback and then go into the lower high, into the, I'm sorry, the lower high. What am I talking about? Lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Lower high into the lower low. So this is why I'm saying gotta be a little patient, right? Because let's take it a step further. Let's say price doesn't give you that pullback, but it instead gives you a valid break of the bottom of the zone of consolidation, right? Then okay, cool. We know we'll just get a pullback and a retest. A pullback retest to continue. So that's another way to view it. So make sure you guys write that all down. Get that in your notebooks. Again, this is why these sessions. That's why I do like YouTube, right? Because at the end of the day, too, that was one question a lot of people had when I started doing the membership for the one-on-ones. That's mainly why I did it for. It wasn't because of the streams. I did it because of the one-on-one sessions. There's way too many people, and too many people just wasting time. I said this in the beginning. Like, a lot of people, oh, I want to do a one-on-one. We'll schedule it, then they won't show up, or they won't text me. Like, they won't even text me like, hey, I won't be able to make it. Then some of them will text me, and then they'll reschedule for another time, and they won't make it again. It's like, yo, I I know for a fact somebody who's paying for the service is not gonna do that, and I don't like getting my time wasted. So that was really the reason as to why we even started doing the membership. Um, sorry, I'm just reading a text. But that's pretty much it. The YouTube streams, I love them, right? Because anything that we're talking about here, you guys could go back, rewatch it, write down the notes, do what you gotta do, right? And it helps everybody. So yeah, no questions. I'm just taking a few seconds to a minute every time I do the pairs, so you guys could ask any questions. Go to the Discord too. Chill on the Discord. Right, so I'm gonna start speeding it up just a little bit. We still got a few pairs left, already 30 minutes in. So again, every single pair treated the exact same way. The first two pairs, that was the best examples I could give you. We're just gonna keep doing the same thing. So EA, we are in level 3 and an uptrend, right? Again, this is push 1, first zone of consolidation V1, push 2, second zone of consolidation, which is V2, and push number 3, where we're at right now. We still got that gap at the bottom of the market. We're still uptrending, no continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we have 2 weeks of rise, this week being the 3rd week. Price gave us that push to the top side and then went down and finished on a drop. So yo, again, that's crazy, yo. I'm telling you, I fucking definitely added 20 gosh darn lines, and I'm still doing it again this week. Like, I know I did it last week, for sure. Like, I'm 1000% sure I added lines last week. And even if I didn't add it last week, the week before, I always add like 10 lines. Alright, so we have a week of drop. But we know that this was a rise drop. Now, could we be expecting a 4th week push to the top side? This is where, right, understanding where you're at overall, right? So I'm still expecting price to go a little bit higher. Let me go ahead and, I don't know why I don't have that line up here. I probably accidentally deleted it. I'm not gonna put it on the wick. Should I put it on the wick? I'm gonna put it on the wick. Yeah, I'm putting it on the wick. Peak high. Right, so we know that price has to reach the previous peak high. Trading between that high and these lows, right, in the market. So we still have a little bit to go back to the highs. So understanding that we still have this gap at the bottom, this is where the question comes in, like, what type of a pullback are we going to get, right? Are we going to get a simple 38.2? Are we going to get a simple 50% retracement? Or is price going to give us a 88.6% or even 100% retracement, right? So with that being said, this gap holds a little bit of power. I'm not going to say a lot of power, but a little bit of power in that question. Whether, again, how far back is the pullback? Because, again, for the ones who don't see market structure, we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? And then higher high. So again, the pullback could be here, it could be here, it could be here, it could be here, or it could be here. We have all of these areas as to where price could pull back down to. And again, the common theme, the same thing we're looking for in every single pair. As soon as the price goes into the point of interest, what are we looking for on the lower time frame? looking for the change of character, and we're looking for the break of structure. We got the change of character. We got the break, right? Got the pullback, and we got the push to the top side. So again, that's it. Now, when we go back into the daily time frame, why is it that I'm not really interested in looking for another trade in this area just based on where we're at, right? Again, I'm okay with taking these trades here. Now, in this area where we're at, not the best place. Now, why? Because we're in the middle of the trend. We're in the middle of the previous higher high and the previous higher low. So now on the 30-minute, let's go ahead and delete some of these drawings. We had 2 days of no net where price is just moving sideways and we're still stuck in that zone of consolidation. We got a day of drop, then we had a change of character. This is red because it's downtrend, right? And then lower low, lower high, lower low. So I don't even want to say that this is lower low, lower high, lower low. Yeah, I don't want to say that that's what we're looking at. I'm gonna mark this all as the same trend. So instead of saying that we're trading, I'll do it, this is easier. Instead of me saying that I'm trading higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, right? I'm just gonna say that I'm trading lower low, and then wherever this lower high sets, let's say that it sets here, right? This is where the lower high is gonna be. That's the way I would say it. And we're looking for a break of these lows, right? If price gives you a break of those lows, then we know we'll just get a pullback. Right now, for us to continue to look for those pushes back to the top side, the two things I want to see is, again, if price goes back down to these lows and it doesn't give us a valid break the same way it did here, the same way it did here, and it gives us just the inducement the same way that it did here, then I'll take this trade here, right? I'll take this trade here, take it back to the top side, and then wait to see if price wants to give you a break of the highs, to then look for another trade here, to then continue again back to the top side, or price is just gonna go and start making lower lows and lower highs again. So that's it. There's only two options for me right now, and they're both either gotta wait for the price to give us an invalid move to then start looking for the push, or wait for price to give us a break of the highs, sorry, right? Push to the top side, give us a break of the highs, the retest, and then get in again on the retest to continue. That's so rude for sure. Yeah, taking notes already. Oh yeah, you're saying, oh, I didn't even see that when you typed the first time. Yeah, about the one-on-ones. Yeah, I mean there's a few things that's happened. That one doesn't really bother me as much as it used to, cause I understand like things happen, but you know, if it happens once, cool. Happens twice, alright, no problem. But if it happens 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 times, every single time we have a session, it's a little, we're adults. We could pick up the phone for 2 seconds. You poop every single day. I hope you're supposed to. You got time to grab your phone and type while you're on the pooper. You know. I know life moves fast sometimes. I know that for sure. I agree. But we got time, man. We got time. Alright, because it's not even like, yo, let's hop on a call. I gotta talk to my boss and tell him I'm gonna be late. Like, nah, just send me a message like, yo, I'm not gonna make it. Or, yo, I'm gonna be late. Cool. But, you know, when people don't say anything at all day, it's like, yo, I just sat here for 4 hours waiting for you and nothing. Just gonna add a few lines here to the monthly time frame, daily time frame. Alright, so EURCAD, we know that right now we're in level 2 and we're sitting in the higher high. Right, we had push 1, first zone of consolidation, push 2. We're sitting at the higher high, no continuations on the daily time frame, price at the higher high. Again, just giving us that zone of consolidation. Instead of a higher high, higher low, higher high, price gave us a higher high and just starts moving sideways, which is again perfectly normal. On the 4-hour time frame, looks like we had 3 weeks of no net. Right, then this previous week that just passed, price gave us another no net. We've just been moving sideways for 4 weeks straight. 4 weeks straight of just sideways movement. It's crazy. Right, and this is one pair that also has a gap at the bottom. So again, the fact that price has just been moving sideways on NZ, what pair is this? On EURCAD for 4 weeks straight is insane, and we see it. We see it. It's clear as day. We've just been moving sideways, especially when you zoom out. Right, if you're super zoomed in, you might get tricked here, somewhere here, going up. But again, realistically speaking, you want to see either a break of these lows or a break of these highs. And you did not get a break of the highs. You got testing candles, and you obviously never got a break of the lows either. Price has been just consolidating the entire time. That's crazy. That looks insane. Right, so EURCAD, there's nothing for us here. Right, in order for us to look for those trades, we want to start seeing price. We wanted to see price give us a break, right? A change of character. After the change of character, you want to see the break of structure, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high. You're looking for the higher low, and then we're looking for the higher high break of structure. Price never gave us the BOS, tested the highs, and went back down to the bottom. And we've been consolidating in this area for the last 3 days, right? Since Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, EURCAD, going on to the next one. There's nothing on EURCAD. I need to see a break of those highs. I'm going to start moving a little bit quicker here, guys. Right, EURUSD. This was a question that we put in the Discord chat that nobody answered. There was one person. It's all good. EURUSD. We are in level 2. We were looking for the break of structure after the first zone of consolidation. We had the break, and after the break, price gave us a higher high, and we're just moving sideways. Right, at these highs. On the 4-hour time frame, we're still trading higher high, higher low. Gave us a week of drop, and then this week, price is really close to being a no net. Very close to being a no net. 15 pips. Regardless, it doesn't change the outcome, so I'm not gonna update this. We'll wait till Monday when the market opens, and then we'll know if it's a no net or a rise. And then we had 2 days of rise. We had a change of character, higher high, higher low. We were looking for the break of structure, higher high. Price never gave us a valid break. Because price never gave us a valid break, we couldn't say that this was going to be higher high, higher low to continue into a higher high. Right? We couldn't say that this was a valid 372, which is what we talked about on Thursday, because price never gave us a valid break. So it was a good thing that we held on, didn't take the bait, didn't take that trade. Right? Regardless, this is still higher high, higher low. It's just not a strong higher high, higher low. Right, so EURUSD, go on to the next one. EURUSD, we got that gap at the bottom. Gonna be looking for price to fill that gap before we could even start looking for a trade, or we'll be looking for the continuations. If we get one of those, we'll take a trade. GA is one of the good pairs, doesn't have a gap right? We are in level 3 and an uptrend. We already reached the previous peak high that we had, right? We had 3 months where price gave us continuous pushes to the top side and then finally just moving sideways. Price is slowing down. On the 4-hour time frame, we had 2 weeks of rise. We were looking for price to give us a third week push to the top side, but again, price is slowing down. Looks like it doesn't want to keep going up. That's okay. That is okay. We had 2 weeks of rise, and then price gave us a week of drop last week. And then on the 30-minute, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price failed to make new highs and then started trending down. And gave us a day of drop on Friday. We're pretty close, but it doesn't change the outcome. Again, we'll update this on Monday if we need to. Yeah, any questions, guys? Let me know. Just keep me posted. Adrian was the only one who answered the question in the Discord. GCAD on the daily time frame. We are in level 3 and an uptrend. Very similar to GA, we have no gaps in the market, which is good, but we're moving sideways at the higher high. Right, at the previous highs, we're just moving sideways up here. No continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour, we're still trading between the previous higher high, higher low, higher high. Again, at these higher highs, price is just moving sideways. And then we had a week of drop last week, and then this week, again, price is very close to the opening candle, less than 10 pips, yes, 8 pips. And again, it doesn't change the outcome because it's either going to be a no net or a rise, so there's no continuations on GCAD either. But we'll update that on Monday. The ones that are going to be super close to that, we'll just update on Monday. There's no harm, no foul, right? And then, like we said, we're still moving counter. We're still downtrending. We're still trading between the previous lower low, lower high, lower low. At the lower low, price gave us a lower high zone of consolidation, and we could see that price still hasn't given us a valid break of the lows. But we're getting close. We're getting close. So we'll see. GCAD is one we'll keep an eye on. But again, we're still trading lower low and lower high, so won't really be looking for these buys until price turns around. GJ daily time frame again, guys. Let me know. I'm gonna start doing this a little bit quicker. Any questions, just let me know. Alright, so GJ, we're still in peak high territory. I'm not really gonna be trading it, so I'm just gonna skip through this one. GJ's now, I'm not a fan of GJ right now, so it's based on market structure, how price is moving. I'm not really gonna be taking this one too serious just yet. Say the one thing we could see obviously right now is we have 2 weeks of rise, but again, just looking at where price finished and how price finished at these highs, price never really gave us a clean break to the highs. It just tapped it, and it tapped it towards the end of the week, literally on the last day of the week. Never had a candle closure, so for me personally, this isn't even a strong 2 weeks of rise. Oh, we'll look for a third week, right? I want to see a little bit more confirmation, and again, the confirmation is just gonna happen on the 30-minute time frame. Which again, what I'm looking for is higher highs and higher lows, and right now we're not doing that, right? We could sit here and argue and say, well, we could mark this as, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, higher low, right? And we're going to be looking for either a higher high break of the highs to continue for the rest of the week, or we'll be looking at what price is doing exactly right now, which is reject the highs and start making lower lows and lower highs. Which again, I have no problem with looking at the chart this way, right? That would mean that we're trading between this low over here and this high. And again, I have no problem with looking at the chart like this, especially GJ, right? Because how much and how fast GJ moves, I don't want to say that this is higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we started making this BS here. Like, what are we gonna say? That this is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, high. Like, I don't like that. Right? I don't. It doesn't look right on GJ. Just doesn't look. It doesn't look good. Right? So it doesn't even make sense. Right? But once we start seeing it like this, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, again, where would we be looking for our trades? Well, okay, cool. We know we have a higher low. At the higher low, what do we want to start seeing? Want to start seeing higher highs, higher lows. Okay, cool. Right? If price doesn't give you a higher high on the 30-minute on these highs, then what are we going to start seeing? We're going to start seeing lower lows and lower highs in the internal time frame. So everything is there. It's just about whether the rules are being present at the time that we're taking the trade, right? And again, so that's what I'm looking for on GJ. I need to see that break of these highs before I could even consider to take a trade. Have I been? And yeah, that's another reason why I'm not putting this as a second day of rise either. The same thing for the 4 hour. I'm just not, we're not trading in strong areas right now. GU, very similar to EU. We are in level 2 in an uptrend. We're at a higher high now. Just got the break of structure. Price gave us a higher high, and right now we're just chilling up there at these highs. We had a week of drop last week. This week, price gave us a week of rise. Right, and we can see higher high, higher low, higher high. Price never broke these highs, so this is not higher high, higher low, higher high. This is just part of the same move. We're not even going to update those 4 hour highs just yet. And then on the 30-minute, again, we're trading at a higher high. So when you're at a higher high, are you expecting price to continue to make higher highs, higher highs, higher highs? No. Right, you're looking for the break. Never got a valid break, just a testing candle. We had 2 days of rise, but because price never gave us that valid break, that's the reason why we didn't get the 372. Again, very similar to EU. And we know that we're trading now between higher low over here and higher high up here. Alright, NZD USD is a new pair that we added. We added this last week, but I never updated it. All I did was the market makers pattern, and that's it. I didn't add the monthly drops. I didn't add the weekly drops. So we're going to do that real quick. I'm just going to add the last 4 months. You know, just to have a little bit of leverage to know, to really see what it is that we're doing. Tuesday, no, where's Monday at, man? There you go. Daily separator. Okay. February, March, April, May, June, fuck, July. I feel like tweaking or something, but February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay, yeah, we're good, right? Why Saturday? What do you mean Saturday? I didn't do Saturday. Oh, you're saying why I'm doing the session Saturday? I'm tweaking. I'm like, yo, Saturday. I didn't put it on Saturday, did I? Like, no, I did Monday, the first. Um, Now I'm going back to Miami tomorrow. Gotta go pick up a few things. Um, since I'm leaving super early, I'm coming back, but I'm leaving early, and then I'm coming back here late. And I said, yo, I'm not gonna do the session when I come back. I'm gonna be fucking tired as hell. So just getting it over with today. Hi, Kendall. Missed you, man. Yo, where's Mike at? Yo, I think he really died. 2 months a rise. On the third month, gave us a rise no net. Damn. If we would have added NCD, well, nah, because the beginning of the month gave us the push already. Right. We have a rise no net. But I'm looking at the race too, and this guy's bike just blew up. Well, his engine just blew up. It's losing power. I miss you too. Aww. Damn. There's 2 minutes left. He's in second place, but he's 45 seconds ahead of the person in third. He's 5 seconds behind the person in first, but he can't go fast because his engine blew up. There's the good thing is that he's still at a good pace. People behind them are fucking riding like dog shit, right? So the good thing is that he has a good amount. Um, it's crazy. One lap takes about 2 minutes and 10 seconds. 2 minutes and 2 minute 14. So I mean, he could get caught pretty quick because he still has a minute left plus 3 laps, or maybe plus 2. So that's still he still got a good 6 minutes on the track. That's crazy. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. Yo, guess who's fucking here? The pocket, Miss Vanessa herself, the one and only. My bad. I'm over here eating shit, bro. I'm looking at the race. It's 51 seconds left on this moto. Um, but yeah, guys, any questions on that last pair that we did? Let me know. So on NZD USD, right? So we're just updating this. Let me add a few more lines here, just so we don't have to do this. July, August. Right, so since we just added this pair to our list, I'm just updating the daily time frame, making sure that we have our daily lines, right? Continuations. So this month we were expecting price to give us a new high, and pretty much is already giving us that, which is good. On the 4 hour, let's go ahead and add the last 4 weeks again, just so we can have a little bit of leverage. Weekly separator. And then let's add Sunday 17. Sunday 17. Sunday 17. It's a lot of weeks that I added here. It's all good. The more the better. The more data the better. Sunday the 17. 17 at 5. Well, Sunday at 5. 17 at 5. Sunday at 5. Okay. And then we have, we good? 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Okay. So then here we have a week of drop. Here we have, and that's count tweaking. Where are we? Did we say where we were at overall? Alright, we're in A2. Alright, we're looking for that third push to the bottom. Not a valid break. Still have that gap at the top of the market. Right, so we are in a downtrend, but we're looking for price to push up to give us that to fill that gap up in the market. Right, so we have a week of drop, then 2 weeks of drop, and then a week of rise, and then we have a week of no net, and we're pretty close, but we'll mark it as a week of rise for now. We'll update it on Monday if we need to. And then technically are still trading higher high, higher low here. I'm going to keep this like this just for now. And then on the 30-minute, we're still trading. Damn, hold on guys, my bad. There's 2 laps to go. He's 34. Damn, he went from being 5 seconds behind to now he's 34 seconds behind, and he's 15 seconds behind, or he's 15 seconds in front of the guy in 3rd place still. It's crazy if he makes it to the end here. That would be good. So that's kind of crazy that his bike literally fucking blew up. His engine blew up. Alright, so NZD USD, we're still trading higher high, higher low. Right, then price gave us higher high, higher low, higher high. So NZD USD, we'll just wait for price to fill that gap. US30, I'ma just update this. I'm not gonna give my breakdowns on it. Again, when it comes to US30, gold, Bitcoin, oil, I'm not gonna speak about them on the streams. We'll do that on the live trading sessions. But the weekly market breakdown, not doing it. Then we have a week of rise. Price gave us 2 weeks of rise. And I'm not going to delete none of these drawings. I'll delete the highlighter because that's the only thing that's kind of annoying. But the drawings are very important. What I'll do with the drawings is, so it's not super annoying, higher high, higher low, and then higher high. Again, it's not a valid break of the high just yet. Still testing the highs. It's gonna be interesting to see what price does here at these highs, because if price doesn't give us a valid break, then we'll go right back down. And again, we're just in a zone of consolidation at this point. We still got that gap at the bottom. We still got that gap at the top. Damn, yo, hold on, guys. Is the final lap. A guy in second. Again, his engine blew up. He's still in second. There's only a few corners left, but the people behind them, third, fourth, fifth, are literally right behind him. Okay, so he's the guy in first one already. He just passed a check and he was 45 seconds, 50 seconds. He was 50 seconds ahead. I'll let you guys know right now what happens. They're still running at it. He's not letting the guy pass him. Any questions, guys, in the meantime? Any pairs you guys want me to go to look over? Any entries you want me to talk about as well, let me know. He's in the last turn. Okay, boom. He finished the second with a fucking blown up engine. That's insane. That's crazy. Alright, my bad, guys. So now, US30. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what price wants to do at these highs. USDCAD, I'm not trading. Pretty much these last four pairs, I'm not trading. So, we're pretty much done, guys. Any questions? Any specific pairs you want me to go over? Anything you guys want me to talk about again? Anything you want me to go over? Anything at all, man. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. No questions in the chat? Alright. Then don't say, oh man, I didn't understand this. I should ask questions. Because at that point, it'd be too late, man. Yeah, USDZAR is another one. Not trading. I'm just gonna keep it updated. We're in an uptrend overall, right? An overall uptrend, but we still got that gap at the bottom. We're stuck in a zone of consolidation without a valid break of the highs or the lows. So just waiting for price to finalize this pullback, fill that gap up. Once we fill that gap, that's when I'll start looking to take a trade again on USDZAR, which is very similar to USDCAD. That's pretty much what I'm looking for, what I'm waiting for. Gold, we're still in peak high territory. We're still in an uptrend. We're still just making highs. I haven't even updated this. Like, we're so far behind. What is this? A daily time frame? May, June, July. Finished on another month of rise. It's another push. Then on the 4-hour, we have so much shit. We had a week of rise, and then price gave us a drop, and then gave us a no net for this week, just moving sideways. Alright, let's go ahead and, why do we have so much drawings here? Hold on, let's take a step back. What is this? Okay, cool, I could delete all that. All of that's internal time frame. we have, like I said, a week of no net. Price just moving sideways. Weekly no net. And then on the 30-minute, we're still trading between the previous lower low and lower high. We still got that gap at the top, and we still got these gaps at the bottom. So again, gold isn't even in a good spot for me personally. Just in these areas here. There's not, again, I'm just not going to. I'm not gonna react in these areas. We'll wait it out. Bitcoin, daily time frame, still again in peak high territory. 2 months of rise. This month being the 3rd month. Let's go ahead and delete some of these drawings again here on screen. All right, 3rd month high. Then on the 4-hour, we're still missing 3 hours for the market to close for Bitcoin for the week, but we're pretty much high up there. And then on the 30-minute, price is still higher high, higher low, higher high. Then price gave us a change of character, lower low down here, right? But that's it. We had 3 days of drop. After 3 days of drop, the market must move sideways or go up, and it went up, and then today price went up too. So let's see if price wants to give us that 3rd push to the top side. That would be that'd be nice. Be great to see that number again. 111 on Bitcoin. You know, even lower time frame, we could even go a step further and say that this is a shoulder head shoulder, rejected the lows, right? And then we go down into the lower time frame and we start seeing higher highs, higher lows on the lower time frame. Watch. So it's like, yeah, again, Bitcoin moves the same way as every other pair. There's no difference. Just because it's Bitcoin, crypto, I'm nervous. Like, nah, shit's all the same shit. 1 minute time frame is where this is at. Watch. You go down to where the inducement of the lows happen, then you start looking for the structure. Again, structure, lower low and lower high turned into higher highs and higher lows. You had lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? And then you had change of character. Let's take a look. Boom. Right, you had the lower high, then you had the change of character, higher high, higher low, then you had higher high, break of structure, then you had the higher low, right? Let's go a step further and see if we have any engulfing candles, anything at all that could help us find an entry here. Red, red, green. Top and bottom work for every candle. You had the retest. Right. So let's just use this one for an example. This is 11 pip stop loss. So we'll just use this one for an example. And then this was just a change of character too. This wasn't even the break, right? And then the change of character, right? So now the break, let's see if we have another engulfing candle. No, I was seeing this gap here, but that gap was filled as soon as it was made. What moves are you waiting on USDCAD to trade it? I'll tell you right now. I'll go back to it and I'll tell you. What's good, Mr. Agent? Welcome to the stream, my brother. See, would we have had any entries here? Nah, would have been a little bit. Would have waited just a little bit for price to give us another push above the 50 EMA, and then I would have just gotten in on the retest here. So it wouldn't have been this type of entry on the break, but it gave it to you on the change of character, which is nice. Right? It's always good to see that. And then oil, I'll go over that one now, Adrian. Let me just finish up these pairs, and then I'll go to that one again. Alright, cool. So oil did reach that engulfing candle. Hasn't hit as a stop loss just yet. Let's start from the top to the bottom, though. Again, we're trading at a lower low. At a lower low, price is just giving us a zone of consolidation, right? I am expecting a steeper pullback. I don't like trading at these lows. I don't like trading lower lows. Like, nah, I'm trading the lower lows. Once we get a lower low, we'll see a lower high. Once we get that lower high, that's when I'll start trading again. And again, the 200 EMA is what I'm looking for. That's a point of interest on level 2. That's where we're at on oil, right? Level 1, first zone of consolidation. Level 2, right? We're in level 2. We got the lower low. I'm looking for a lower high, right? So excuse me, guys. And then on the 4 hour, at the lower low, again, price is just moving sideways, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, moving sideways. And then we have a weaker rise. That's it. And then on the 30-minute, once we get that lower high, that's when I'll start trading it. We don't have anything, so lower. I'll just keep it like this. I'll update this on Monday. So for USD CAD, what I'm looking for is the same thing what USDZAR, right? Only difference is USD CAD doesn't have a gap at the bottom. USD CAD at this moment, we're still trading higher high and higher low, right? So my first point of interest when we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high, where am I expecting the higher low to be? Right? In this case, looking at market structure, looking at how price is moving, looking at the EMAs, right? Looking at your fib retracements, I'll be looking at a pullback between 50% and 61.8, right? To make higher low, to go into a higher high. Now, the second thing that I'm looking for on USD CAD, keep a close eye on the fact that, again, we reached the previous peak high. We already created the 3 pushes to the top side. Could this turn around and start the downtrend move to give us the 3 pushes to the bottom side? Yes. Is that what we're currently seeing? I can't say yes or no to that right now. We don't have enough information. On the lower time frame, it definitely looks like we're downtrending already. Right? 100% on the 4 hour, we have peak high territory and peak high territory. Price gave us a shoulder head shoulder. On the shoulder head shoulder, it gave us a change of character, break of structure on the 4 hour time frame. Broke below the 800 EMA, right? And we're still downtrending. We're still lower low, lower high, lower low the entire time. So again, could we say that price is downtrending? Let's say that we do say that. But then again, on the daily time frame, could that downtrend, could that 4 hour downtrend have been just for the daily time frame higher low to be set, especially on the 800 EMA? So, all right, that answered my question. I can keep going. Right. So my whole thing now is just, okay, we're at a point of interest. The same thing. It's the same example we've been saying since the beginning of the stream with all the other pairs, right? We know we're in a point of interest where, okay, this could be, again, this could be the higher low, right? If this is the higher low, then okay, on the lower time frames, on the 30-minute, on the 15-minute, on the 5-minute, what do we want to start seeing? We want to start seeing higher highs and higher lows, right? And right now, what are we doing? We had lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Technically speaking, over here we didn't get a valid lower low, right? this did not give us a valid lower low until price gave us the push here. So technically speaking, we're trading lower low, lower high, lower low, right? I don't even want to say that this is, again, lower low, lower high, lower low, because price never gave us a valid break of these lows, right? So I'm not going to say that this is lower low, lower high, lower low. Oh, change of character, higher high. I'm not going to say that. 30-minute, we're still pretty much trading between these lows and these highs, right? So regardless, I have to wait for price to give me that higher high, higher low. Now, could we go again, like what we always talk about, into the lower time frame? Then yes. The lower time frame is going to give you a little bit more, right? The lower time frame is going to give you the change of character, which we already had here, and now we're looking for the break of structure above these highs. If price could give us a break of those highs, then cool. Again, just be aware that if you're trading these trades going long, that you're still trading between the previous lower low and lower high, meaning this could be the lower high to go into a lower low. A pull back up to here could be a lower high. A pull back up to here could be a lower high. A pull back up to here could be a lower high. A pull back up until here could be a lower high, right? So just be careful taking these trades. This is a pair right now. USDCAD is one of those pairs that if you take a trade, it doesn't even matter the direction that you take the trade in. You have to babysit it, because it's gonna look good in the moment. You're gonna think, oh my god, this pair looks amazing, and then all of a sudden it's just gonna go reverse and it's gonna just do whatever the fuck it wants to do. So just be careful with that. But any other questions? Anything else? Anything you want me to go over? Thank you, brother. Of course, my brother. No problem. It's always a pleasure doing these sessions, man. It's fun. Again, it's obviously for me, it's good to do these. Right? It's just a good refresher. Imagine me repeating the same thing every single day, looking at the same thing. It's a good. I have this memorized and tattooed in my brain for a reason, right? But no, even like again, I don't know if you were here from the beginning, from the first couple minutes, or even from the first couple pairs, but just being able to break down these pairs and give you guys, show you guys what the market is doing, give you guys a reason. And then on Monday when we turn the stream on for the live trading session, the fact that we could see that price is doing exactly what it is that we talked about, you know, if it's why we stayed away from a trade, or why we got in it, or why we decided to get out earlier, or why we decided to not take it, or vice versa, like all of that is so dope to see in real time, right? And the fact that I helped, you know, there was just so many people. I don't even want to sound like that. I said that out loud. I kind of cringed at myself. I don't want to sound like I'm giving myself props or anything, but it's like the fact that we were able to help out a few people this week with a lot of different pairs, you know, staying away from getting trapped. You know, there was a lot of people who really like these last 2 days of trading, Thursday and Friday, they took a lot of L's on gold. A lot of people. And it's like, yo, I understand. Like, I get it. Right? Like, I understand. And the most simple thing to say really is like, yo, my philosophy of trading, or the way we look at how to execute the charts, it's you get on the chart and you already know, like, okay, I know that for this specific pair I'm looking for longs, and for this one I'm looking for shorts or buys and sells, right? Already knowing that from the start, already understanding like, okay, for this specific pair I'm looking for this specifically, it allows you to just not have cloudy judgment in what you're looking for. Like, gold doesn't peak high, we're still making higher highs and higher lows. Cool. I'm only looking for buys. So if I get on the chart, and exactly what we had, like that's why I had all those drawings here on gold, because this is what I was explaining on Friday, and this is what I was doing on Thursday too, right? I think Wednesday also, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like I had everything drawn out, man. I wish I wouldn't have deleted it off the chart. I'm not gonna lie. I should have just put it on a folder and just hit it, because that was a really good drawing. Everything I had there was picture perfect. We already see how price was rejecting the highs. We're not gonna go higher. If price would have given us a cleaner break, then yeah, you know, we would have considered it. But that's it. That was the only thing that was missing. Once you see that, and once you start saying, "Ah, okay, that's it," like that shit is not gonna go back up. Then price opened on Friday with a gap. That's already another confirmation. You already know price isn't gonna go up. Price has to come down and fill that gap, and that's exactly what happened, right? So you know, the people who get on the chart, then you see that they take 10 positions and they're buying, and then all of a sudden they take one sell position, but that sell position is 3 times or 4 times more than what they lost. It's like, okay, it's cool, but you could have, number one, you could have avoided taking those losses, right? And you could have just waited for the right opportunity to trade, right? Because I could have taken 15 losses here going long, right? Especially from 3 in the morning all the way till 8:30 a.m. Right? I could have taken millions of losses here going short, or I'm sorry, going long, and then once, you know, oh well, it's not giving me the buys, I'm just gonna shift my mindset and go short. You know, I could have avoided taking those other losses first. So it's just such an easier philosophy to trade with, in my opinion. But everybody's different when it comes to that. But that's why I like doing this, man. It really gives you it gives you a nice view of what everybody else is looking at, what they're not looking at, and what you could do better. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's all about how you could level up your trading. This shit doesn't matter, you know, what the next guy is doing or what the next guy is doing. It don't matter, right? What the other guy is streaming, what this person is streaming, what they're talking about, how they trade, like that shit doesn't matter to me. At the end of the day, a loss for them or a win for them has nothing to do with me. I have to trade on my own. I have to make my own bread. So these trades really just help me keep everything organized and really elevates trading for me personally. And I always recommend it. Like, yo, if you're a trader and if it's boring for you to do it by yourself, turn the stream on. Even if you don't have any viewers, do it like you have a class. You guys see it from time to time. We have 0 viewers and I'm still talking to the chat like if people are here. Like if I'm still orchestrating a class. It's just repetition. That's all it is. And even the same, even sometimes when we do have people watching, I'll be like, yo, any questions? Like right now, we got 6 people in the chat. Any questions? No, nobody. Just fucking birds. Just chirp, chirp, chirp. Just crickets. Am I in Discord? I am. Huh. Watch this. I gotta connect to a call. And I have to unmute. And I don't know if it's a good thing. I'm checking. You guys want to sound? You guys want to hear what you guys sound like in the chat? Like this. Fucking crickets, dude. Like, wake up, team. Wake up, man. Alright, man. Seems like you guys got no fucking questions, man. No questions. I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds, man. Any questions? Going once. We already lost a view. We lost 2 viewers. 4 people. Anybody in the chat, yo. Any questions? Playing my game? Oh, fucking everybody fucking came alive the last 2 seconds. King Shot's a mobile game? You're a freak. From what point to what point do you place your markers? The blue and red one? Oh, you're saying the 30-minute highs and 4-hour highs. Gotcha. So let's go to a pair that's actually kind of clean. Doesn't have to be a clean chart, right? Because it's the same thing. You're just looking at the previous highs and lows. And the same thing with the gray box, right? The gray box is just a daily high. Blue box is the let's do a pair we just fucking clean. NZD USD, I'm bugging. Right? So for example, the daily box, right? Which is the gray one. I'm looking at the one at the bottom, right? I'm looking at the last. I'm looking at there's two things you want to see. The lowest point, again, which is the lowest point between here and here, because this is where the break happened, right? The lowest point is here, right? So what you're looking for is the bottom of the box is obviously going to be at the lowest candle, which at this point is the green wick. But what I'm looking for at the bottom going to the top, I'm looking for the last red candle, right? The lowest red candle before the push to the top side, right? And in this case, this red candle here, the body of this red candle, is the lowest red candle before the push to the top side, right? And then vice versa from the top going to the bottom. What I'm looking for is the last green candle before the push to the bottom side, right? So again, the highest point, at this point, the highest point is this red wick here, but then I'm looking for the green candle before the push to the bottom, which is this one here. Right, and I was using this here just to have this entire zone, marked up, since this is where price was rejecting highs the entire time. Right, and it's the same thing, right? For the 4 hour, if you go down to the 4 hour time frame, well, okay, cool. In the 4 hour time frame, you had lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, right? In this case, we know we have to update this on the 4 hour, right? So in this case, you know you have higher high, higher low, and higher high. And again, this is the higher low because this is where price broke. The lowest point between here and here is here. So you know that in the 4 hour, cool. You grab your 4 hour box, right? The higher low, again, the bottom of the box is going to be just the lowest point, which is the red wick, which is this one, right? And then you're looking for the last red candle before the push to the top side, right? The lowest red candle before the push to the top side, and it's this one here. The same candle, the body to the wick, right? So the bottom of the box goes to the wick, the top of the box goes to the body of the candle, and then the top side, right, is over here. This is the highest point, then is going to be the green candle before the push to the bottom, which is here. So we already know this is our higher high and this is our higher low. So correct me if I'm wrong, the last green candle before the push to the bottom, wick to body, last red candle before the push to the top, wick to body. Yep, that's perfect. Last red candle before the push to the top, and then last green candle before the push to the bottom. And then same thing for the 30-minute, right? We did the daily, we did the 4 hour, 30-minute, same thing. Right, on the 30-minute, we know we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high. Again, the lowest point between the break, higher high, higher low, is over here. Higher high is over here. Perfect. Right, the 30-minute box. 30-minute box. The lowest point is a green wick, but again, I'm looking for the last red candle before the push to the top side. The lowest one, right, is here in this area. And then you had the higher high. Highest candle is the red wick. Last green candle before the push to the bottom. And that's what it is. Thank you, no problem, Major. Any other questions, guys? Just to kind of recap, didn't see too much. Again, Bitcoin has a nice 3rd month high. You know, we could potentially be looking for some continuation entries on Bitcoin. Every other pair, again, right now, I'm not really too interested in. There's not a lot to look at. AU's in a good area to start looking for potential shorts. Again, just the fact that we're sitting at these highs, triple top on the daily, on the 4 hour, looks like boobs. AUDCAD, I'm stupid. AUDCAD, we're still moving counter trend, right? EA, still in the zone of consolidation. ECAD still consolidating. EU gonna keep an eye on it. Didn't give us a valid break of the highs and the higher highs, so it's not a valid higher low. It's not a valid pullback. Same with GU. GA is consolidating. GCAD is consolidating. GJ, I don't know, man. GU is the same thing as EU. We said that. NZD USD very similar to GU and EU. Didn't give us a valid break of these highs, so we can't really say that this is a valid higher high, higher low, higher high. Which is again the same reason why GU and EU also didn't give us that 372 on Friday. We just didn't get a valid break. We want to see what US30 is going to do at these highs, if it gives us a valid break or not. So again, all of these pairs are doing the same thing we've been looking at for the last 2 weeks. Just every single isolation session and weekly market breakdown that we've done has been the same information. Just some sessions are 20 minutes and some other sessions are an hour and a half. But it's the same information. It is crazy. Facts. I've been giving you guys the same shit for the last 2-3 weeks. But alright guys, that's pretty much it. Again, tomorrow, the reason I did this session is because I'll be out of town tomorrow again. I'll be back at night. I'm leaving early in the morning, coming back in the late evening. And then obviously we'll be back for the trading session on Monday. So we'll be back Monday, trading session, and then the weekly, and then the isolation session. So from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. is a live trading session, and then from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the isolation session. We'll be here on YouTube again. The link for the Discord is in the chat. So if you guys don't have any other questions, make sure you guys join the Discord. Everything we do here is free. Again, we do have a paid membership if you guys want to join it. It's not an obligation. Again, we do these sessions for free here on YouTube. We do it on Discord. But if you do want to do private one-on-one sessions, you want to get a little bit more personal, learn the information at a faster pace, then you could pay for the membership. Have a great rest of the weekend, guys. See you on Monday. Alright, Adrian. Thank you, my brother. Have a great rest of your weekend too, man. Alright, you guys have no other questions? I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace out. Bye bye. Hasta la vista. Sayonara.